I was chatting with someone at the gym yesterday who bought a pre-sale condo back in 2021. And back then, everyone was calling it a smart move, right? Guaranteed growth, like you can't lose. Well, that unit, it just completed, and the appraisal, it came in $80,000 short of what they originally had agreed to pay. And now because, lenders, they only finance based on today's value, not the contract price from 2 years ago, they're being told that they need to come up with that $80,000 themselves out of pocket. And if they can't close, the developer is threatening legal action. So they're stuck. Either they drain their retirement savings just to close, or they walk away from the deal. They lose their deposit and potentially get sued by the developer. So that's not just stressful, that is life-changing, and it's brutal. And stories like that, they're becoming more and more common. Because the condo market in Vancouver, it didn't just cool off, it slammed directly into a wall. Now, here's the bigger picture. Buyers, they've pulled back, right? Sellers, they're holding out. And that tug of war, it's leaving a lot of homes just sitting there. And the folks who bought the pre-sale condos at the top of the market, they're getting squeezed the hardest. But here's the part that most people aren't talking about. Downturns like this, they don't just bring pain. They also create opportunity. And so in this video, let's break down all of this together. How we got here, what's really happening right now, and where things may be headed in the next few years ahead. So if you're trying to figure out whether you should buy, you should sell, or you should just sit and wait it out, stick with me because I think you're going to want to hear this. So let's rewind. Back in 2020 to 2022, interest rates were at record lows. Immigration, it was booming, and people were buying everything in sight. Pre-sale condos, well, you couldn't list them fast enough. Buyers, they were putting down deposits on units that wouldn't even be finished for years to come, assuming that the prices would just keep on climbing. And honestly, at the time, it didn't sound all that crazy. But real estate, it doesn't move in a straight line. The Bank of Canada, they ended up raising rates 10 times in under 2 years. And by the time those pre-sale units were ready, the numbers, they no longer worked. Appraisals, they came in short. Buyers had to make up the difference out of pocket. And what looked like a safe bet, well, it started to feel more and more like a trap. And that brings us to where we are right now with the pressure starting to really show up. See, people, they're trying to close on pre-sales today, and they're facing that big gap between what they agreed to pay and what the property's worth right now. And for many, that means tens of thousands of dollars, even more just to close. And, if they can't come up with that money, well, they're at risk of losing their deposit or worse, getting sued by the developer. And here's the ripple effect. When condo owners can't sell, well, they can't move up. They can't move up to a townhouse. And when that townhouse owner, they can't move up to a detached house, well, the whole chain, it just freezes up. And when fewer people are moving, the market slows right down. So if you're watching this and you're thinking, I did everything right, I saved, I planned, I waited, and now that door, it feels like it's closed again, you're not alone there, okay? This is part of the cycle that feels very confusing, but it's also the point where smart buyers, they start to lean in and they pay close attention because what comes next, that's where things start to shift. So let's just zoom out for a second because while things look frozen right now, this isn't just a dip, okay? It's a reset. And if you understand how this phase plays out and how long it might last, you can get ahead of the curve. So where are things headed? Well, chances are we haven't hit rock bottom yet. Prices, they could drift a little lower before things stabilize. According to CMHC, condo sales in Metro Vancouver are already down 37% from the peak. So yes, we are still in correction mode. It's not a collapse though, but it is definitely a reset. Now, while prices are adjusting, you've probably already seen the headlines and many headlines about new housing starts. So politicians, they're all promising these big numbers, more supply and more affordable housing. And that sounds good, right? I get that. It does. But here's the catch. Most of that new housing isn't ownership. It's purpose-built rentals. So understand this, BC, they registered over 16,000 new rental units in just the first half of 2025. Now that's nearly 60% more than last year. Now that might help tenants, agreed, yes, but for buyers, it doesn't add to the pool of homes that you can purchase. Now I get it, you might be wondering right now, well, if there's already so much inventory on the market, why does that matter? And that's a fair point, but understand this. Yes, listings are stacking up right now, but that's short-term oversupply, and it's driven by sellers holding out for yesterday's prices and buyers waiting for clarity. Now, meanwhile, new condo construction, it is slowing. CMHC reports that condo starts dropped by 13.4% in Vancouver in the first half of 2025, with developers either pausing or completely canceling projects when pre-sales, they don't pencil out. And here's why that matters. If fewer condos are being built right now, well, we're not going to see many completions 2 or 3 years down the road from now. And that's right when demand could return, especially if rates come down. So while it feels like oversupply today, we could be staring down a crunch tomorrow. And once that momentum shifts, it usually shifts fast. Now here's the silver lining. If you're financially stable, you have some savings, and you're ready to hold long term, this could be your window of opportunity because you don't need to hit the exact bottom. The truth is, you'll only know when the bottom is once the prices have already started to rise again and you see it in your rearview mirror. So what matters is buying smart, the right unit, in the right building, and with the right plan. And that is how wealth gets built in real estate. And I'm seeing smart buyers do exactly that right now. Now listen, I get it. The market, it is frustrating, definitely. You work hard, you save, and you do all of the right things, and it feels like it's just out of reach. But that's why timing the market, it matters less than strategy. You see, because the market, it doesn't reward panic, guys. It rewards people who stay calm, who stay clear, and well-informed. And here's the big takeaway. This isn't just a dip. We're watching the entire system reset, right? How homes are bought, how they're sold, and even how they're built. And this next phase, it's going to separate the people who are guessing from the ones who have a plan. But here's the problem. Most buyers right now, they're making one key mistake, and it's costing them more than they realize. So watch this next video because I'm going to show you exactly what that mistake is and how you can avoid it. And of course, if you want to chat more about your specific situation, feel free to reach out. There is a link in the description box below. Otherwise, I will see you on the next video.